Hey y'all, this is not going to be a long video. I am exhausted. Last week was such a long week, but I'm doing so much better from my wisdom teeth being pulled. I still have 4 holes, but they're not as big. It's closing up, so I'm feeling really good about that. Long week this week, productive, but it's a long week already and it's only Tuesday. I know we've all had those kind of weeks. Like there's just a lot happening. And so literally have to prep my mind. You know, you ever had that? Okay, I'm not gonna get sidetracked. But seriously, you'd be like, oh my God, all this is happening. So, and then I drank way too much water just now trying to get my water in, and now my stomach's hurting. So I'm kind of uncomfortable doing this video. Random, right? But what the heck, I share with you all anyway because that's life. I'm just ready to rest tonight because just a lot has been happening, and you got to be able to just woosah, reset, keep it moving. So let's get into this. The fifth thing on my vision board is a focus on intellectual growth. And it's so interesting because even as I'm telling y'all that, you know, I've been challenged in growth, period. You know, everyone may not always agree with your growth. Everyone may not always grow at the same rate as you. Everyone is going to have different experiences, but you really just have to remain authentic to who you are, regardless of where everyone else is in their lives. And then you have to continue to be honest with yourself and challenge yourself to keep growing. And intellectually, especially, that has been something that has been interesting for me that I'm resting in. Even today, I had a conversation with a friend, and she was like, you know what? Thank you for interrupting what I was saying because, you know, she was basically kind of downplaying, you know, where she's at, what she's doing, the strides she's making. And I said, no, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing right now. Like, I really, truly believe that. And specifically, it's talking about, you know, getting your organization together and business together, you know, whether it's finances together, you know, health, anything, right? So for me, intellectually, sometimes, you know, you could start to think to yourself, "Ooh, I need to be going faster. I need to be retaining this more, or I need to be doing this more." And I've really recognized that I need to be doing exactly what I'm doing right now. It's okay to say, I've planned, I've made preparation. Of course, God can interrupt because he always does, you know, but when he gives you vision and it's time to walk it out and implement, you just follow it. And if he decides to interrupt and throw an audible in there, it's okay to go with that. You should go with that because his plan is always better. But as far as just our planning, our human planning, it is okay to say, you know, I made a schedule for this month. This is what my focus is. I made the schedule for this month. This is what my focus is. And if you see other people moving faster or you think they're getting somewhere ahead, you have to really stop yourself and know I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. If you've asked God to help you, if you've asked God for guidance and for direction. And it's so interesting because I am finishing Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Woo-hoo. I'm excited about that. It's been a great read. And have more ideas about some other books, having read that I am looking forward to reading. And I needed to read this right now, like right where I'm at, for a lot of the transition that's happening in my life. It has really helped open my mind up and be a little more clear about direction and about ideas. And that's really cool to me because sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves, and I'm just learning to take the pressure off. Say what you say, mean what you say, and keep moving. Live your life. And that's not always going to align with what everyone around you may be doing. But you're not trying to run somebody else's race. You running your race. Because if you don't run your race, you're steady going to be trying to keep up with someone else's, with what they're doing, with what they think. And that really doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't honor you. And yes, there's moments to grow. Yes, there's moments to take from, to learn from, that ultimately cause us to grow. But ultimately, like I shared in a previous video, you stay in your lane. You stay at your pace. Don't try to do anyone else's job. It never benefits you in the long run. It never does. Like, you just feel like there's a goal or something that you can't keep up with, because no matter how hard you try, or, you put something to work, that's not your race. It's not for you. And so for me, I just looked at my vision board in preparation to do the video, and I saw a quote I wrote under the intellectual focus, which was study how money moves. And that's huge for me because, like I said, in reading that book and knowing where I am right now, which I'm really excited to share that when it's time, but knowing where I am right now, like, I needed that quote. And it's so funny when I looked at it, I'm like, oh, wow, that's for this week. That's what this week's video is about. Because a lot of us don't take time to study how money moves, right? In the book, there's a lot that talks about how in school we are taught to learn, but we're, or I'm saying it wrong, or we're taught about finance, or something like to the effect of we're taught about money, but not how money works for us. But we're taught to work for money and not how money works for us. And I think that's so powerful because especially when you want to venture and grow and be independent in whatever field you are, you still have to know those basic fundamentals. And that's not something that we always talk about in our families and friend groups. That's why it's like, find you some friends that talk about money. And I've noticed I'm talking to more people that deal with finances that I know are way smarter than me about money. And it's like, that's who I need on my team when I'm there. That's who I need to be learning from right now. Bop, 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 right? So a final quote I'll say is that so many people have said different versions of never be the smartest one in the room. Always have people who are smarter than you on your team. Always be learning from people who are smarter than you. It challenges you. It pushes you to grow. And ultimately, you'll be the better for it. So I'm super excited about where I am. I think the intellectual focus I have right now is all, based on finances and just doing better with money. And it just feels good to know that I am staying focused, because sometimes you do have to look and be like, oh man, I had that goal. I wrote that down at the beginning of the year and I'm doing it. I'm staying focused and how things kind of align and come together. So like I said, I'm going to stop. Because some of that might have felt like I was babbling, but I wasn't. I hope you all caught what I was saying. But I'm about to go and relax because I am up very early when this video comes out. So I am going to get some rest. But I love y'all. I hope you're having a wonderful week and just stay productive. And I'll see you in the next video.